Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining me on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at the City Ground is just about to get underway. Our referee, Dean Whiteson, has just blown the whistle. The players took the knee, but there was a bit of a false start with the kickoff, which you do sometimes see in these situations. But the game is underway now. Nottingham Forest are desperate to try and get their first win of the season. Cardiff desperate to make up for the fact they had their first defeat of the season just before the international break, losing to local rivals at Bristol City. And straight away Cardiff on the attack. Ball from Curtis Nelson into the penalty area just gets away from Jamie Collins. There was one change to the Cardiff 11 from the previous 11 that was announced, with Leandro Bacuna dropping out of the starting 11. But meanwhile, Nottingham Forest are just making a bit of a mess of clearing the ball from the edge of their own penalty area. Eventually the ball does get through to Johnson, and now Forest can go on the counter with a quick turnover from Taylor over towards the right-hand side. Here is Zinker now breaking into the box, can't quite get his shot away. Loose ball picked up by Diop Spence, goes back over towards Zinker under pressure from Nelson. Zinker breaks into the box. It's a decent challenge though. Zinker looking towards our referee, expecting a penalty. I don't think there was enough contact there as Spence puts a cross in, and the header in the end goes over the bar from a Gardner. But that is an impressive start from Forest. They just had a little bit of a nervy moment there, trying to get rid of the ball at the edge of their own penalty area before eventually they were able to go on the counter-attack. Good work from Zinker down the right. Diop then with the cross, but the header in the end goes over the bar. So just to remind you of the 2-11s, Forest have Bryce Samba in goal with the back four of Diop Spence, Joe Worrell, Scott McKenna and Max Lowe. Four in midfield are Philip Zinker, James Garner, Ryan Yates and Brennan Johnson, with Lewis Grabban and Lyle Taylor as the two up front for Cardiff City. Dylan Phillips is in goal with a back three of Sean Morrison, Aidan Flint and Curtis Nelson. The two wide men are Perry Ung and Joel Bagan. Four in midfield are Mark Harris, Will Vokes, Marlon Pack and Sam Bowen, who now comes in to the 11 for Leandro Bacuna. Jamie Collins is the front man. Might be a slight change that we may see Cardiff trying to play with the two up front if they get a bit more possession as the match develops. But it's a throw onto Forest now down the right hand side. Long throw from Spence straight onto the head of Bagan for Cardiff, though. He heads it forward looking for Collins. Loose ball now being fought for in midfield. Good sliding challenge there from Garner, puts it out for a throw. Chris Hughton knows the pressure here at Nottingham Forest. It's not been the start that they would have expected by any stretch, although it seems as though Forest have been almost, you could say, rebuilding for some time really. They've had a couple of false dawns, a couple of false starts over the last 4 or 5 seasons, and they'll be hoping that this really difficult start to the season can be broken and they can start to get into some kind of form. Cardiff now trying to push forward down the left-hand side. Nelson with a header, and it does get through to Jamie Collins. Just shields that ball away from Spence. Lays it off for Bagan. Now his cross into the box is hit up in the air by Lowe. Loose ball still potentially there for Cardiff. Vokes heads it on into the box, but that one drops to Spence, and he's got time to clear it, although he is charged down there by Collins. But no harm done. The ball deflects off Collins and goes out for a goal kick, as Mick McCarthy's side looking to try and get into a bit of an early ascendancy here. As I said, it was a really good start for Cardiff at the beginning of the season, but they had their last 2 games, in fact, were defeats. Lost 2-0 at home to Brighton and Hove Albion in the League Cup, and then 4 days later they lost 2-1 at home to Bristol City. So they'll certainly be looking to try and make up for that this afternoon. Long clearance now from the goalkeeper Samba, headed on by the big man Aidan Flint. Ball drops to Sam Bowen. Under pressure there, he leaves it for Perry Ung. The ball deflects out and it's a throw to Cardiff down the right hand side. Getting closer to the penalty area now, and Ung is waiting, gets that ball into Vokes. Vokes under pressure there from Johnson, goes back to Ung. Nice little drop of the shoulder there, and then a left-footed low cross into the box, gets a slight deflection, header on, it's off the bar, it's on the line, and it's just about cleared. Real scramble there inside the Forest 6-yard box. Great work there from Perry Young down the right-hand side. Just dropped a shoulder and puts a left-footed cross in, and it was a low ball as well. It just deflects off Worrell, headed on towards goal. It deflects off the underside of the bar before Worrell finally does get a clearance in. But that was good work there from Ung down the right-hand side. And that header looped off the bar from Bagan. It was his header. And eventually the ball was cleared. But once again, Forest under pressure here down the right-hand side. It's Mark Harris. It's his side of throw. And after that one quick counter-attack we saw from Forest in the first minute, they've not really been able to cross the halfway line since then. 5 minutes on the clock now. Goalless between Forest and Cardiff. And Cardiff have scored 9 goals this season in the Championship. 8 of them have been headed. Perhaps it's no surprise that there was Grabban trying to head that last one in. But now it's a throw on to Cardiff down the right-hand side. And the long throw specialist Will Vokes now launching this one into the penalty area. He's going to have to do it again, though, because the referee, Dean Whitestone, just spotted a bit of pushing and shoving there inside the 6-yard box. Asking Harris there just to keep his hands to himself, which Harris says of course he'll do, and as soon as the referee walks away, players will start pushing and shoving each other again. Goalkeeper Bryce Samba trying to find some space, and no surprise, Cardiff players are doing what they can to try and block his route to the ball, but it's Vokes' long throw, headed up in the air by McKenna. Loose ball drops to Grabban at the edge of the area, and he tries an effort. He was a little bit off balance. I think he was caught in two minds there, Grabban, as to what he wanted to do with the ball, and in the end he hits it with the left foot, but there was no danger of that one being on target really. And Samba can now restart play. Getting another replay of that chance from a few moments ago with Ung's cross, ball deflected off Worrell, and then a header which hit off the bar, and just as Harris was trying to get onto the rebound, the ball was cleared. But here is Mark Harris now down the right hand side, getting towards the edge of the area, being blocked there by Max Lowe. Harris still fighting to get the ball, and he wins Cardiff a throw down this right hand side. It's right by the corner flag, so we'll see if Will Vokes wants to come across and take this one, or is it just going to be a short throw? Well, they're sending players into the 6-yard box here at Cardiff, so we can expect another launched ball into the box. The stat I just mentioned before, that 8 out of 9 goals for Cardiff this season scored with the head. Never guess it was a Mick McCarthy team, would you? But Vokes now waiting with this throw. Long throw into the 6-yard box. Again, it's a good header away by McKenna. Ball drops back to Will Vokes, puts a cross in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Once again, it's McKenna with the header, and a chance now for Forest to go on the counter-attack. Zinker Angel down the right-hand side tries to get that ball in towards Lyle Taylor, but he just gets stopped by Grabban. It's going to be a throw to Forest down the right-hand side. And Jep Spence now waiting to restart play, but Chris Hughton will certainly be looking for his side just to keep a little bit more of the ball now. After that long spell of pressure from Cardiff, Zinker Angel down the right-hand side gets stopped in his tracks. It will be a throw to the home side. Spence into Grabban. Yates now back to Spence down the right-hand side. Zinker Angel under pressure there from Nelson, but Forest still keep possession. It's played back to the halfway line. Worrell's ball towards the edge of the area just gets away from Grabban. Loose ball is picked up though by Taylor. He gets it back as well from Garner, and he strikes it towards goal. And it's just over the bar from Taylor. Good response that though from Nottingham Forest, as initially the ball just got away from Grabban, and there was a bit of a heavy touch there in midfield from Bowen. That allowed Forest to get the ball back, and then the strike in the end from Taylor doesn't trouble the goalkeeper in the end. Always just rising from the Aussie. So it is a goal kick now as we're just waiting for Phillips to restart play. Just grabbing with the captain's armband on. Maybe looking to try and keep his side's spirits up. It's been a tough start to the season for Nottingham Forest, but they're starting brightly here, or trying to anyway. Cardiff have seen a lot of the ball, but we just saw there Phillips, goalkeeper, being closed down there by Grabban. Clearance up towards the half line. A bit of a wry smile on the face of the goalkeeper there. He knows he was under a little bit of pressure. But as it stands, we can see that Forest have been struggling in terms of attack this season. In terms of goals, shots, chances created and touches in the opposition box. They're not outside of the bottom 3 in terms of all the teams in the Championship, so they really have been struggling. But then, of course, they are in last place at the moment with just the 1 point, so you'd expect them to statistically be quite poor as well. As we can see, Chris Hughton getting very frustrated there with his players. Clearly lip-reading there. He's saying that get it forward. He wasn't happy about the square balls being played inside the Forest half, but they're forced to go back here as Cardiff getting more and more players towards the edge of the area. Now, long clearance from Bryce Samba. Ball just a little bit too short there for Taylor. In and out, and it's going to be a throw down the left-hand side. It was a header from Morrison, the Cardiff City captain. 10 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary from the City ground. It is goalless between Nottingham Forest and Cardiff City. Still to come on this service, the Premier League offering at 4:30 this afternoon as Leeds United take on Liverpool. It is Cardiff City in possession now with Curtis Nelson. Long ball towards, aimed at Jamie Collins. Collins under real pressure there from Lowe, and he's fouling Lowe, says referee Dean Whitestone. I was about to say I thought there might have been a foul there on the Cardiff man, but the referee felt as though that was a challenge that just a little bit too keen there was Collins to try and shield his opposite number there off the ball. So we can see now Mick McCarthy and his assistant Terry Connor. Keen to see Cardiff get into the game a little bit more. There was that spell of about 5 minutes where Cardiff really looked like they were in the ascendancy. Now they're just struggling to get that sort of possession inside the Forest half. Long clearance goes straight through towards Dylan Phillips, though. A bit too much on that one there from the goalkeeper, but then Phillips returns the favour, does exactly the same thing, sends a long ball straight down the middle, which goes all the way through to Bryce Samba. So now Forest can start again down the left-hand side here with Max Lowe. Leaves the ball for Brennan Johnson. Lewis Grabban under pressure, having to go backwards here, back towards Scott McKenna. And McKenna's ball through the middle. That's a heavy touch from Taylor. I thought it could have been brought down there, but referee says there's no foul. Cardiff in possession on the halfway line now. Under a bit of pressure there is Marlon Pack, having to go back here as Grabban is closing down the goalkeeper as well. Phillips clears that one with in plenty of time, although he does get it a little bit askew, so it is out for a throw to Forest now down their left-hand side. So the home side desperate. You just feel that it's so important for Forest not to concede first in this game. Of course, if they do, they have to have a plan B and try and get back into the match. But the way that their season has gone, I just feel it's so important that they can get a good start here, keep Cardiff quiet, and if they can take a lead, the stadium would come alive as well. And that would certainly give Forest a real chance of getting their first 3 points of the season. Spence in possession now down the right-hand side for Forest, under pressure from Bagan, going back towards his own box. Worrell now, he's under pressure from Harris, and the goalkeeper Samba now playing a quick ball out towards the left-hand side. Lowe flicks it up in the air, but he can't keep it in play. He feels as though there might have been a bit of a raised foot there from Perry Young, but the referee is not interested. It is a throw to Cardiff City. Too much happening in front of goal so far in this game. West had that one little foray, and there was that one effort from Taylor which went wide. Cardiff have hit the woodwork already. After that cross from Ung was flicked up by Forest defender Worrell, and then the subsequent header from Bagan crashing off the bar. Bit of a scramble afterwards as well, but Forest were able to clear their lines. Forest are on the attack now, and potentially there could be a free kick here. Both sets of players looking towards the referee. Now it's going to be a free kick to Cardiff. There was a bit of a clash in midfield there between Pack and Garner, and both players looked towards the referee expecting a free kick. Referee Dean Whitestone waved play on, but then just seconds later there was a foul from Joe Worrell. That is going to be a free kick, as we'll see this again. Bagan plays this forward. You could argue that as Pack is falling over, might have just clashed there a bit with Yates, but in the end when Worrell bumps into Harris, I think there's not too much, there can't be too many complaints about that one. That probably was a foul, but there may well have been a foul in favour of Forest just a few seconds before. Joe Worrell, the Forest Player of the Year for last season. And Cardiff's Player of the Year is on the bench this afternoon, Kiefer Moore. Ball now from that free kick, headed on towards the edge of the penalty area. Still some work here for Forest to try and clear their lines. That ball deflects off Grabban straight into the path of Bagan down the left-hand side, and his cross is charged down by Spence. It's going to be a corner kick to Cardiff City on 14 minutes. But Grabban there coming back into his own box to try and help in defence, and he inadvertently actually helped the Cardiff City attack on that occasion. But straight away, two of the big men trying to get in the way of goalkeeper Bryce Samba. Considering that he's shorter than Morrison and Flint as well. Flint right now is hiding just at the edge of the box, but he's arriving at the edge of the 6-yard box now. The corner kick was taken, but it's going to have to be retaken because the referee was blowing his whistle just as that ball was being whipped in. Bit of a clash there between Taylor and Nelson. So So referee asking for this corner kick to be taken. Again, the whistle went pretty much as the ball was being driven in. So we'll see this corner kick again from the left-hand side. Samba trying to jostle again for position. Flint now complaining to the referee that he's being blocked with his route to goal, but the ball is played towards, well, it's pretty much heading towards goal there, and Samba has to punch that away. Collins has now followed that ball out towards the right-hand touchline, but Lowe is there first. He puts it out for a throw, and a chance for Cardiff City to still keep the pressure up. Looks like it's going to be Marlon Pack with the throw this time. Waiting to see where his teammates position themselves. Morrison is still up from the corner. Just waiting to see. I'm assuming that Flint would be up there as well. But here is the throw from Pack now towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was aimed at Morrison. It's headed out. Ball is back over on this right-hand side. Perry Ung now with a long ball towards the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Worrell. But a bit of a sliding challenge there just at the edge of the box, but no free kick. Cardiff still in possession, back on the halfway line. Another long ball from Ung, chased by Harris this time. He gets there. No, he doesn't get there. The ball was out of play when he got there. He may have actually even been in an offside position as he was chasing that one, Harris. In any case, it is going to be possession back for Nottingham Forest. Confirmation that it was an offside because the goalkeeper Samba is being asked to take this free kick from pretty much where the corner flag is rather than from his own 6-yard box. In fact, he's being corrected here to take it from the right place. It does annoy me, that, really. I mean, that makes absolutely no difference. The linesman was very keen to make sure that free kick was taken from exactly the right spot. When you consider that throw-ons can sometimes be taken from 10 or 12 yards away from where they were supposed to, just shows that little bit of inconsistency sometimes. Although, I suppose on some occasions it doesn't matter too much where that throw is taken from. But it's a standard offence, I think, that most players know they can get away with, just to edge forward and try and steal a couple of yards. Forest in possession now in midfield with Philip Zinker-Angel. Gets stopped by Perry Ung. And Ung then plays a short ball to Bowen. Back to Ung down the right-hand side. That ball is too long from Ung. There's no chance of Harris getting on the end of that one. And Samba then bowls this one out towards Worrell on the right-hand side. Long ball now played towards the edge of the area, and a chance in now as Zinker-Angel puts a cross in. Oh, it's just a bit too quick there for Taylor, and the ball goes out of play. And this is a lovely moment now at the City ground. A young supporter, Nottingham Forest supporter, Dylan Rich, passed away during the international break after a suspected cardiac arrest during a football match. And there was a gesture here from Forest that as he was a 17-year-old, they would have a minute's applause in the 17th minute. Real nice gesture there. Lovely to see. Standing ovation from all sides of the ground. The Cardiff City fans very much joining in with this particular gesture. And certainly the applause ringing out throughout the 17th minute here. We've still got around 15 seconds to go, and it really has been very well observed. But Forest trying to use that as an extra little bit of springboard to try and get on the attack now down the right-hand side. Spence's ball does get through to Taylor, but he couldn't keep it in play. It's a throw-on to Cardiff City down the left-hand side. Hayden Flint leaves this one for Curtis Nelson. It's just waiting for his teammates to get a bit further forward. Cardiff do have quite a few long throw specialists in their team. As I say, they make no apology for the fact that there is certainly some physicality in their play, which is certainly not a criticism. It's a very necessary trait which I think these days in football has been lost, but potentially it could be on the way back, as we've seen since the Euro Championships. Officials have been told just to allow things, I mean, you always get away with a little bit more physicality in the Football League as opposed to the Premier League anyway, but it does seem as though now even in the Premier League they're starting to allow a little bit more of that shoulder contact, a little bit more physicality, just not blowing for any kind of small free kick. And that's got to be good news for the teams that do like to play a bit more physically as well, like Cardiff. Forest, in the meantime, have won themselves a corner down the left-hand side. Good work there from Brennan Johnson. So a chance now for Forest from a set piece. So far, they've just got 3 players in the box, but they're going to have 3 or 4 arriving at the edge of the area. The centre-backs, McKenna and Worrell, are in there, as well as his Yates, as well as Taylor and Grabban. Wait to see who is going to be taking this corner kick. It is going to be Zinker-Angel. Right-footed in-swinger from the left-hand side. He is gesturing to one of his teammates to get a bit closer to him, so we may see a short corner kick routine here from the home side. taking a little while to get this corner kick organised, but it looks like Zinkeranjo is going to whip it in himself. It's a low ball bouncing in towards the 6-yard box. There's some pushing that the referee has spotted there. That is going to be a free kick to Cardiff City, although Lyle Taylor certainly very unimpressed with this decision. Let's have a look. Well, I mean, he was being held onto initially by Curtis Nelson, and then Pack pretty much just spinning round when he was grabbed by Taylor. So I suppose it's one of those where the attacking player is always going to get punished for that quicker than the defender. I mean, that little push from Nelson is never going to be a penalty on Taylor, but then the way he grabbed Pack and Pack fell over, that was enough to convince the referee that should be a free kick in Cardiff's favour. Now, the referee returns the favour to Forest because Collins didn't seem to be too much contact there from Collins, but he gives the free kick away, and that Cardiff attack ended just about as quickly as it started. Here come Forest now. Good ball from Zinkeranjo into the box. That was good marking, though, from Morrison. Didn't allow Taylor to get his shot away. Pack now with the clearance into midfield, and there could be a free kick here, but the referee allows the advantage after a trip on Collins. Ball brought through by Bowen. Bowen gets it to Harris now at the edge of the area. He needs some support. Ung is arriving, but Harris now lays the ball off for Vokes. Vokes tees himself up at the striker, gets a deflection. It actually got stopped by the back of one of his own players, and the ball is now cleared back into midfield. Grabban picks it up down the right-hand side and sends it long towards Taylor, but Taylor is beaten to the ball there by Aidan Flint. And Flint now going back towards Phillips. Long clearance from the Cardiff goalkeeper, headed forward by Max Lowe. And a booming clearance this time from Flint. It's almost like trying to find touch in rugby there. Slammed that all the way back towards the Forest goal. No chance of anyone in a blue Cardiff shirt getting on the end of that one. 22 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary from the City ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Cardiff City 0. But it's just starting to warm up a little bit, this game. Just a couple of half chances for both teams. Certainly Cardiff with the best chance of the game so far. It was that header after a deflection from Bagan, which hit the underside of which hit the bar. It hit the bar pretty much and then just dropped inside the 6-yard box. And Worrell very quickly reacting to the rebound, because there were a couple of Cardiff players lurking there as well. Here is Joe Worrell now going back towards his goalkeeper Bryce Samba. Clearance from Samba towards the halfway line. Good strong header though from Curtis Nelson there for Cardiff. It's a header that almost gets through to Bagan on the left hand side, but Spence is there first for Forest. Goes back towards Joe Worrell. And now once again Samba trying a long ball, this time trying to pick out Brennan Johnson. That was over his head. The loose ball does get through to Max Lowe though, so there is a chance now for Forest to go on the attack down the left-hand side. And Lowe is carried on his run, puts the ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's in the back of the net. Lewis Grabban gives Nottingham Forest the lead on 23 minutes. It's a really good move as well down the left-hand side. You have to credit the left-back Max Lowe, because he carried on his run down the left, got towards the edge of the box, played a ball to just outside the 6-yard box. Grabban is there, and it's more of a composed finish rather than trying to smash it into the back of the net. And the Forest captain with a big smile on his face, as we see Lowe controls this ball on the halfway line, goes to Johnson, and then Lowe carries on his run. It's a good ball from Johnson into space, and it's a lovely cutback there as well from Max Lowe. Grabban hits it first time. It's a lovely Forest move to give the home side the lead. And as I mentioned, they really wanted to get the first goal here today, Forest, just to get the crowd on their side. And the crowd must be pleased with the way that Forest have started in this game. There have only been some brief moments where Cardiff have really looked very dominant, although they have seen a little bit more of the ball, certainly in the first 15 minutes. But now Forest take the lead, and it's Grabban's first goal in the Championship this season. A big goal as well. Now we'll see how Cardiff are going to respond to this. Just looking at the two managers, it's always a nice shot, isn't it, when you get the TV pictures of the two managers responding to the goal being scored. Chris Hughton really very passionate in the way he reacted, and in fairness, so was Mick McCarthy. He was not impressed at all. Straight away sort of turned to his bench as if to say, what was that? He was unhappy that the amount of space that Forest found on that left-hand channel as Forest look at Cardiff's right-hand side. But the visitors now back in possession. And here is Marlon Pack under pressure from the goal scorer Grabban, going back towards Aidan Flint. He then switches play over towards the left-hand side. But once again, just like we saw a few moments ago from Aidan Flint, the ball is far too long. It's out for a throw. We've seen 4 shots from both teams. Forest and Cardiff have had 4 each, but that strike from Lewis Grabban is in fact the first effort that we've had on target today. Now back out for a throw on the right-hand side. Vokes is already there, waiting to take it. And the fact that Vokes is there means we're going to have a little bit of time now before this throw-on is taken, because Cardiff are going to want to send the big men up for this one. But a few things that Cardiff could have done to have avoided that goal. Certainly the space down the left for Forest for Johnson and Lowe. There was far too much space and far too much time for them. But then there wasn't really any marking of Lewis Grabban either. Just got into the penalty area and was able to place that ball past Dylan Phillips without anybody really stopping him. Once again, Vokes waiting. It's almost taking as long as a corner kick here to set up this Cardiff throw. But Will Vokes launching this one now into the 6-yard box. It drops to Morrison. Oh, it just bounces away from Sean Morrison there. Cardiff centre-back. He's just having a quick word there with Scott McKenna as he jogs back to his own half. Maybe a bit unhappy there with the contact with Scott McKenna. But it's important now for Cardiff to respond quickly here, having conceded that goal, having started the game better, you would argue. But Forest rode out that bit of early pressure from the visitors and have now taken the lead. It's a goal kick here to be taken by Bryce Samba. Is it long, slightly over towards the right-hand side this time. Good strong header there from Aidan Flint. Ball drops to Joe Worrell, sends it long, looking for Taylor. Morrison with the header, and it's now Ryan Yates who gets the ball for Forest over towards the left-hand side. Lowe chasing this one to keep it in play. Good assist from Lowe with the Forest goal. Goes to Johnson. Johnson under pressure from Morrison, out for a Forest throw. See some real passionate support there from those supporters just by the touchline, and as that throw-on was being taken, see that the home side desperate to turn their fortunes around after this poor start to the season. Oh, Grabban there, passed a very short ball, but seemed to just stumble as he did so. We'll just keep an eye on him, make sure that everything's all right with the Forest captain. I think it is. He's actually just held his hand up towards the bench as well, so perhaps he realised that his manager and the physios are probably concerned, having seen their captain and goal scorer just stumble a little bit, but everything fine with Grabban. Forest still in possession. Lowe to Johnson. Back to Lowe. Inside now to Garner. He goes back towards McKenna. And we always see this, a team that struggling for confidence. If they score, particularly if they're at home, it just calms everything down. The crowd just feel that's a little bit more relaxed. They feel as though that there is a chance of a win today, and at the same time the players start to have a bit more belief in themselves as well. And that's certainly proving to be the case, because it's difficult for Cardiff to get into any kind of possession now, as Forest looking to build after a long clearance from the goalkeeper Samba, but it's not to be, because Lyle Taylor is in an offside position, although judging by his expression he's not doesn't necessarily agree with that decision. But Cardiff now trying to go forward, and here is Mark Harris back towards Marlon Pack. Began now in towards Bowen. Pack again down the left, looking for the run of Harris, who's under pressure, trying to hold the ball up here. Gets it in towards Began. Began now at the edge of the area, but just plays that ball a little bit too far. Easily cleared by Spence. Ball is back in midfield here. Pack sending this one all the way back towards Aidan Flint. At the edge of his own penalty area now. Leaves the ball for Dylan Phillips. So this is now the longest spell of possession that Cardiff have had since they've conceded, but still, it's all in midfield. They're not able to get forward. Long clearance there from the goalkeeper, headed on by Ung, and chased down by Collins, but that's a good header from Scott McKenna. Out for a throw to Cardiff City down the right-hand side. So, to see now how this throw is going to be taken. We can see a couple of Cardiff City players just arriving inside the 6-yard box, as always, make it as difficult as possible for Bryce Samba. You've got Pack and Began waiting at the edge of there. It's a short throw from Vokes this time to Ung. Ung trying to get it back onto his left foot to try another quick cross, but he was being well marked there by Johnson. Ball now back on the halfway line with Curtis Nelson, and now it's Bagan who's pass down the left-hand side. It's a bit too long there for Collins. Spence desperately trying to use the pace of the ball to let it go out of play. It doesn't, it stops on the line. But full credit there to Jeb Spence. He was able to get that ball away and clear it down the right-hand side. But then Lewis Grabban, a little bit too keen to try and win that ball back for his side. I think it might have actually been an offside position. I thought that initially it might have been a foul there, but it is a free kick for the offside on Grabban. And ball now with Marlon Pack playing it back towards Morrison, and he goes back towards goalkeeper Phillips. Long ball down the middle, looking for Harris. But Yates wins that one back for Forest, plays it back towards Samba. Clearance from Samba now, headed forward by Flint. And Pack under pressure from Grabban, so he's having to go back towards goalkeeper Phillips once again. And Forest, after that slightly crooked clearance we saw from Phillips early on in this match, since then Forest are trying to close the Cardiff keeper down, that is for sure. The bench for both sides this afternoon, it's Tobias Figueiredo and Colback, Lolly, Beso, João Carvalho, Maiton and Horvath as the substitutes for Forest. As for Cardiff, it's McGuinness, Moore, Sang, Colwyn, Evans and Smithies. There may be an additional sub on the Cardiff bench as well. Just waiting to see if they added somebody because of, say, the Bakuna dropping out of the starting 11 with an injury before kick-off. But Cardiff now in possession with Will Vokes in midfield, over towards the left-hand side. Some space here now for Jamie Collins, just being stopped by Spence. Rolls the ball to Bagan. Bagan's cross charged down by Spence. It's a bouncing ball which is stopped by Joe Worrell. Avoids the corner kick, clears it long, and Aidan Flint there feels as though he was fouled. Free kick wasn't given, but then Nelson clashing with Taylor, and that is given as a free kick to Cardiff. Now, Aidan Flint is absolutely furious with the referee here. He feels as though he was pulled to the ground by Lyle Taylor. Referee didn't give a free kick for that, but then Taylor seconds later clashed with Nelson. I mean, you could argue that Flint has crashed into the back of Taylor and just fallen over. And you could actually argue that Taylor's not done too much wrong with the foul that's given against him for what he did to Nelson as well. See, although the replay, I take back what I said, Lyle Taylor knows exactly what he's doing there. The very close replay there shows us that as that ball was up in the air, Taylor maybe for a split second looked up to see where the ball was and spent the rest of the time looking at where Curtis Nelson was. So it was the right decision there from the referee to give the free kick to Cardiff. Despite it being a free kick to Cardiff, Will Vokes has just picked up a yellow card. It's his first of the season. Obviously just a little bit too vociferous in his arguments there with the referee. 33 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Nottingham Forest leading Cardiff City by 1-0. Goal scored by Lewis Grabban on 23 minutes. Vokes has been booked, but he's still talking to the referee. He's still not happy as the free kick is taken long, and then it's headed on by Flint, looped up in the air by Bagan, but the offside flag is up. I just wonder if this is already Flint in an offside position, or does he head this on towards Bagan, who was then in an offside position. Just seeing a replay again of how the referee reacted. I mean, it didn't seem like Vokes didn't seem like he was berating the referee for very long, but it obviously must have just been a few words that upset Dean Whitestone there. Which is surprising, of course, because in theory players aren't supposed to swear at the referee at all. In practice, the rule is that you're not supposed to swear directly at the referee. You can say that a decision is such and such, but you can't call the referee as such and such. But frankly, players push that to the limits anyway, and most referees allow a certain amount of additional industrial language, shall we say, as Max Lowe now clears this ball down the left-hand side. And that one is going to go straight out for a goal kick, so Cardiff can restart play quickly. The next fixture for these two sides, Nottingham Forest are at home to Middlesbrough in their next game, whereas Cardiff City on the road again, away at Coventry City. So another trip to this time the West Midlands for that one. But Cardiff will certainly be looking to try and get back into this game. They've not really had a chance to test Samba. There's still not been an effort on target here from Cardiff City. We've got around 11 minutes to play in this first half. The ball is with Forest keeper Bryce Samba. Waiting now Samba to see where his teammates are. Pumps this ball long. Headed forward there by Aidan Flint for Cardiff. Ball drops to Johnson. And now Yates over towards the left-hand side now for Lowe. Lowe playing it in towards Johnson again. That's a good ball to find Grabban at the edge of the area. Now it's with Zinker Angel. Puts it onto his left foot. His shot charged down by the face of Marlon Pack. Loose ball here with Spence. Zinker Angel's cross into the box is headed away by Flint this time. And the loose ball is now with Jamie Collins down the left-hand side for Cardiff. He tries to get the ball into Harris, who is brought down by Worrell, and a couple of the Cardiff players are unhappy. I just wonder if Joe Worrell is going to be the first Forest player in the book this afternoon. Doesn't look like he is. Just going to be a warning from the referee for the time being. And in fairness, it's more his body tripping the man. I thought initially as though there might have been a bit of contact there with the boot, but looking at it again, it was more the fact that Worrell just slid in and didn't quite get to the ball. As Chris Hughton now trying to bark some instructions out to his players as they look to defend this set piece. As Will Vokes now standing over this one. He's going to deliver it with his foot rather than his hands this time. Ball towards the edge of the area, headed away by Garner. The loose ball is still in play here, but it goes out for a throw. Vokes takes it short this time to Szczerbakowicz, and in fact it's not going to be a throw to Forest. That's why the referee stopped play. Maybe that's why Will Vokes wanted to take the throw so quickly, because he thought they might be getting away with one there, but combination of a referee and linesman deciding that that was a throw. Mick McCarthy taking advantage of the fact that the linesman is now on the halfway line just to ask him about that last throw on decision. So the linesman, a little smile on his face, just explaining to the Cardiff manager why he gave the decision that he did. No harm done as far as Cardiff are concerned, because Forest cleared their lines. The ball comes straight back towards the edge of their penalty area and it's headed out. So now the Cardiff do have a throw from pretty much the same spot where Vokes had the ball taken off him a moment ago. And you get the feeling that this time it's not going to be a short throw from Will Vokes. He's going to start to wind up and launch this one into the penalty area. He's got a few players to aim for inside that 6-yard box, which is very congested. Now there's a player that goes down inside the 6-yard box. A couple of Cardiff players look towards the referee. Penalty is not given. Ball cleared towards the halfway line. Curtis Nelson is there for Cardiff. Gets the ball into Vokes. He's under pressure, so he goes all the way back to his goalkeeper Phillips. And then Phillips plays the ball into Marlon Pack, who when Cardiff have a set piece, Pack's almost like a sweeper. He stays behind on the halfway line, allowing the big centre-backs to go forward. Him and Nelson are the two men. In fairness, Pack and Nelson aren't exactly short players either. It is a big, strong Cardiff City team here that Mick McCarthy has assembled. As Aidan Flint now under pressure from Lyle Taylor. Goes back towards the goalkeeper. Long clearance from Phillips now down the middle. Headed forward by McKenna. Second ball gets to Worrell, who heads it forward. Pack now over towards the right-hand side for Perry Ung. Ung playing a quick 1-2 with Harris. Gets that ball in towards Collins. Collins with the strike! And it's a great save by Samba. It was going on target, that's for sure. And Cardiff patiently trying to get their chance to get a shot on goal. And finally Collins just had that little bit of space inside the penalty area. It's good work there by Harris to hold the ball up. Lovely little ball from Ung into the penalty area. And it's a good left-footed strike there from Jamie Collins. Good save low down with his left hand there as well from Bryce Samba. It's going to be a corner kick now to Cardiff City. Outswinger from the right-hand side. Headed forward by Flint. It's still inside the 6-yard box. But Yates is there first. He clears it. It's going to be out for a throw to Cardiff. We're going to have to see Aidan Flint go off the field momentarily. He's got a really bad cut over his eye. I don't think the referee has spotted it yet, because Flint is just heading straight back into the penalty area. But as he's jumping for this one, I think he's just had the Nottingham Forest player's head go straight into his side of his eye socket there. He needs to go off. This is a blood injury, and I don't think the referee has spotted this yet. And Flint now is going to have to go off the field. Very strict rules in terms of blood injuries. If there is a blood injury, a player has to go off the field straight away. And well, this is annoying. Now the referee should make. Have they gone off the field here or not? This is unacceptable. Aidan Flint was ready to play on until the referee spotted his blood injury, and now Aidan Flint is being treated on the pitch, which is a bit pointless because he's going to have to go off as soon as he gets the treatment anyway. But I suppose Cardiff doing what they can to try and keep 11 men on the field for as long as possible. That said, it's their own time they're wasting it because Cardiff are losing. But of course, blood injuries are very much a hot topic in sport after what happened to Emma Raducanu in last night's US Open final. Bit of a scary moment when she got that cut on her knee. So thankfully, she was able to recover from that and complete what is a miraculous fairy tale of a story in becoming the US Open champion. But allow myself that little tangent into tennis because still waiting for Aidan Flint here. He's getting the full Terry Butcher bandage treatment here now, right across his forehead. And he's not happy, I think it's fair to say. The physio is trying to get the bandage around Aidan Flint, and as I say, lip reading what Aidan Flint is saying there. I certainly couldn't broadcast it, but he's basically saying that that really hurts, that really stings. He's not happy at all there, but he's going to want to get back on the field. It's one of his biggest weapons, is the aerial threat that he can provide. So he needs to be able to use that forehead as much as possible. They've put one bandage on that, and they've got another one on him now, so he should be ready to get back on the field momentarily. I am surprised that we've been waiting for him to come back on. That is unusual. I mean, players go off to get treatment all the time. I don't understand why the referee has sort of allowed Cardiff's suggestion here to stop play whilst he's getting treatment. It's unusual. That I'd love to know why the referee agreed to that. But it is a throw on to Cardiff City now. Pack's throw into the box, drops at the edge of the area. Vokes with the strike, and it's a long way over the bar from Will Vokes. There's a bit of a complaint there from Forest, as well as bodies all over the penalty area as that ball was being fired in by Vokes. And it looks as though there was a clash which has ended up with, is that Ryan Yates on the ground? No, it's not. In fact, it's Brennan Johnson. You can just see a 2 from the distance now. You can see the full shirt number 20. So Johnson is down on the ground, and he's still getting checked over. And I think this happened just as Vokes was striking that at the edge of the area. There was just a bit of a deflection, and then two players crashed into each other. And I think it was in that melee there that Johnson was just a little bit worse for wear, and he actually looks in a bad way. He's lying down on the ground, not moving particularly much. Let's hope this isn't too serious for him. We're going to get a bit of injury time now at the end of this first half because of all these delays. So just looking again at this Nottingham Forest goal, it really was a very good finish there from Grabban. Although now looking at that replay, there was a slight deflection off Nelson, which just took the ball away from Phillips. I just wonder, maybe Phillips could have actually made the save there had it not been for that deflection off Nelson. But whilst we do have this break in play, let's just quickly run down the scores from yesterday. Quite a few high-scoring draws. Blackburn 2-2 with Luton. Blackpool beating Fulham by a goal to another big result for Blackpool. Bournemouth beating Barnsley 3-0. Bristol City, Preston 0-0. Coventry beating Middlesbrough by 2-0. Reading with a hat-trick from John Swift. Still couldn't beat QPR, who got a late equaliser there to make it 3-3. Sheffield United absolutely hammered Peterborough to finally get into their stride after a difficult start to the season for them. Under Slavica Jokanovic, they beat Peterborough 6-2. Stoke beating Huddersfield by 2-1. Swansea City 0-0 with Hull City. And West Bromwich Albion drawing 1-1 with Millwall, although it was a little bit disappointing to see some unsavoury scenes involving the supporters in that particular match. Let's hope it's all isolated incidents. I do hope that it is something that's coming out of the game, but it's not completely been ironed out yet. Of course, we do still see a certain amount of crowd trouble. You only have to look at the way the final Euro matches went at Wembley, and some of the crowd problems we saw there as well. But after a long break in play, the walking wounded are now fit to play on, and we've got about a minute to play before we hit injury time here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest leading against Cardiff City by 1-0. Goal scored by Lewis Grabban on 23 minutes, as Forest now with a throw down their right-hand side. Cardiff with a few players close to that Forest penalty area just to try and put pressure on. Aidan Flint is the club's top scorer. He's had the most shots, on target, he's had the most touches in the opposition box, and he's won the most aerial duels. And he is a centre-back, don't forget. But as I mentioned, Cardiff have scored 8 of their 9 goals this season with their heads, so no surprise that the 6'7" Aidan Flint is going to be have a starring role in that particular stat. As Max Lowe now down the left-hand side, he finds Brennan Johnson, and Johnson does well. He's off down the left. He's got Grabban ahead of him. He's got Taylor waiting in the middle. Perhaps he just held on to that ball for a little bit too long. Perry Young, in the end, is able to put a challenge in and puts the ball out for a throw. Now hits up in the air, and that's a pointless free kick given away there by Max Lowe. It's just a get out of jail free card for Cardiff, who were already having a little bit of trouble clearing the ball straight away. But then with that foul from Lowe, it's a free kick now deep inside the Cardiff half, and they've got a chance to clear their lines. We're into injury time. We're going to get 3 minutes of injury time at the end of this first half. Most of that would have been for the injury to Aidan Flint, and then subsequently the injury that's happened to Brennan Johnson as well. But Cardiff now trying to get forward down the right. It's with Collins, gets right to the edge of the area, and he wins his side a throw after the challenge from Scott McKenna. I don't think it's gone out for a corner. It's right by the corner flag. And Cardiff City, as we know, should be sending the big men forward for this throw. Flint is at the edge of the 6-yard box, as is Collins. Harris is standing right on the goalkeeper. He's got Joe Worrell in between them. And is this going to be Will Vokes or Marlon Pack? Which one of the long throw specialists? It is going to be Will Vokes. And it's a long throw from him into the 6-yard box. It's a drop to Collins. Collins took just a little bit long to get the strike away. It drops to Bagan, who tees up Pack. Pack with the strike. It's his own teammate that blocks it. A second effort deflects past the goal, and it's out for a goal kick. But that's certainly the closest. Other than that header off the bar early on in the half, that's the closest that Cardiff have come to getting an equaliser. Long throw from Vokes. Just got away from Morrison. Collins couldn't quite get the shots away quickly enough, and he was charged down. Good play there from Bagan to tee up Pack, but then Pack crashed that ball into his own teammate, and then the follow-up effort was already going wide. Harris tried to get his head to it, but he couldn't direct it towards goal. But certainly Cardiff just trying to cause a little bit more, just trying to do a little bit more in front of that Forest goal in these final few moments of the first half. We've got about a minute to go, but Forest from the goal kick lose possession. This ball is through to Collins, who is in an offside position. One-on-one was Jamie Collins there, but he saw the flag go up and didn't even bother to finish off the move because he knew that nothing was going to come from it. And he was always offside. He started off offside. He was always a couple of steps ahead of the Forest defenders, and he never got back in line. So that was a pretty easy decision there for the linesman. And then it was close, but he was never in an onside position as that move started. 30 seconds of injury time still to play. Terry Connor, Mick McCarthy once again in deep conversation there as to try and remedy things in the second half. And Morrison now waiting to take this throw. Although it looks like the Nottingham Forest fans have just decided not to give the ball back with these final few seconds. Now finally the ball has been found in the seats, and you'd imagine that the referee would be ending the half any time now. We've had the full 3 minutes of injury time. It's a long throw from Morrison up towards the halfway line, headed up in the air by James Garner, and referee Dean Whitestone does end the first half with Nottingham Forest, who start the day in last place without a win this season. They lead at half-time after captain Lewis Grabban scored on 23 minutes, and I'm back in 15 minutes for second half of Tube Studio Commentary.